Hey, everybody, welcome back to another. Are these episodes?
Sure. Yeah.
Episodes.
I don't know what else we would call them.
Welcome back to a podcast.
Yeah. Welcome back to
That's creative.
The pod.
Podcast episode.
It's like 2 point something.
Yeah. Episode 9.
Yeah. And I have to get something off my chest. I hate winter.
Yeah.
Saturday I mowed my yard. Sunday I shoveled my lawn, my driveway, and then yesterday I was outside with my dog. And I woke up and there's 13 inches of snow. Now it gets worse. I have one happy thing I do every day.
Yep. What is that?
Well, that I can share with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go to Chick-fil-A for breakfast every day, and except Sunday because I close on Sunday. True.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a shout out to
a day of
True
rest.
Kathy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And I've been really, really happy that they've stayed open. You know, they have their mask on. Some have some shields and stuff like that. But one of the things I'm really, really appreciative is that that's my happy spot because I can go there and I get some comfort food every morning. Okay. So I got up today and Robin says they're closed because there's 2 Chick-fil-A's near my house and they always close for inclement weather. Okay. So I got on my app because I have the Chick-fil-A app and I've got a butt ton
You're
load.
red level. Yeah.
I think I'm platinum. I'm going to check.
I don't know if that's a level.
No, I think
red's the top. Red's the top.
Red is the top.
They call me Mr. Bergen. Oh, I'm red.
Yeah. Oh, not platinum?
I'm red for the next 2 years. That's just from this week. That's 3,800 points. Okay?
That's great.
Anyway, so I check the app and I get on there, and of course, Larkridge and the Orchard, they're both closed, inclement weather. Babies, all right? So I check Longmont. It says Longmont, 8.9 miles from my house. All right. I call them. It says can't take your call right now, but they don't say. They actually say we're open for regular hours. Then it gives me the option I can order online for curbside delivery. Yeah. I'm like, ching. Remember, we got between 10 and 15 inches of snow up there.
They're here to serve.
Longmont people are tough.
It's their pleasure.
Sometimes Krieger lives there.
It is their pleasure.
Sorry, continue.
So I drive through inclement weather.
Yep.
All right. And I get up to the Longmont Chick-fil-A, and guess what?
Closed down.
Closed. That's false advertising. You know, in a COVID-19 world, and you look to your leaders for stability and integrity, and there on their website, it says open till 10 o'clock tonight. And then you risk your life to support those local restaurateurs because that's a local business. Right?
Sure it is.
And they broke my heart.
What do you think will mend that tomorrow morning?
I'll have to talk with them.
Yeah. After or before you order?
Oh, after.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're a really good organization, but
it's their pleasure to serve you tomorrow.
I'm not saying they would cough on my sandwich.
Yeah, but they might.
No, they wouldn't. I don't think they would do that. But anyway.
I don't want to brag, though. I looked up my points, and I have double the points that you have.
Do you ever cash in? Gosh, you do.
Yeah. Well, me, Taylor, and Booker, you're buying breakfast for yourself. I'm buying food for 3 people.
Robin's into lemonade.
Oh, yeah, you buy the jug for...
Oh, yeah, it's like $45 for a jug. 8,000.
Ooh, but you're not red level.
I'm not red.
Oh.
How am I not
Because
red?
it's not even on. It's gray.
Minor leagues.
I think you owe points.
I'm doing the worst.
Oh, John C.
606.
Dang.
Almost the mark of the beast.
Yeah, close. Close. I guarantee on their app, though, they skip from 665 to 667. They don't even put on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anyway.
But no, that leads into kind of what we're talking about. Yeah. Because you brought up that as the leaders. Oh, you're still going.
I'm
Continue.
not done. I got to tell you what I did yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really, really proud of that. So I'm going crazy at home.
Yep.
All right. I think I can speak for the world.
Yep, sure.
We're all B.
Yeah,
B. B. All right. So we're all going crazy, right? Right. So I'm a kind of a borderline prepper.
No, you're full blown.
I'm new to it in the last 2 years. All right. Yeah. And that most of that's because I like to store up food for the cabin, stuff like that, so it's easier to cook. So I got into canning. So I shoot elk every year, and this year I shot a bison and a what is that other thing I shot? A yak, right? And I shot a.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's all in the freezer, right? And all you anti-hunting people, I don't care. Okay.
I'm glad we addressed that.
Well, we can do a whole podcast on that because. About my favorite gun or my favorite whatever beverage or my favorite hunt, whatever that is. Yeah. And then those people who don't like that.
You're starting to sound like Joe Exotic.
You're starting to look like John.
No! Teeth are falling out.
You got to cut back on the meth.
I know, I
Yeah,
have to.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
Anyway, so the day before, I had a great day. All right, and then yesterday, I was just like, Robin's like, you got to be happy like you were yesterday, and I was like, I don't. Yesterday, I accomplished something, and today I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I went, I'm going to the store. All right, so I went to King Soopers, fully stocked. Had to wait outside for 20 minutes in a line so that all the people 60 and older could that's fine. Accommodate them. All right, I go in, they're fully stocked. I buy meat. Meat's on sale. I hear there's a meat shortage. Not for the Bergen House. Right?
No.
I bought chicken. I bought 9 pounds of hamburger and flour. You know what I did yesterday? I canned 14 pints of chicken. They're good for 10 years now on my shelf. I canned 9 pounds of hamburger, turned it into spaghetti sauce, and I've got about 4 gallons in cans. It's good for another 10 years. And I baked 3 loaves of homemade bread. I did that in my kitchen.
So then you're happy.
I was so happy, and then I sat down and binge watched TV. I don't want to tell you what it was, though.
Okay, I won't ask. All right. What was it?
Huh? I don't know. It's about a world west of here.
Okay, I restarted Westworld.
I didn't say that.
Oh, sorry, the world west of here. I restarted
I didn't say
it
that because I'm gonna get a lot of criticism because it has a lot of body parts.
That's fine. But you're watching it with your wife.
I am.
Yeah, so
and
you're fine.
we actually discussed the body parts.
Yeah.
We'll push pause and go, wow.
Is it supposed to look like that?
That's supposed to look,
Yeah.
I'm like, honey, no, those probably aren't even real. Especially I'm talking about the men.
No doubt. Yeah.
Oh no, those are the men. No,
Yeah.
no, those aren't real. That's not real.
That's not average.
That's not it.
All right, let's regroup.
How much time?
I feel like this is the old podcast
This
again.
is it. Yeah, we brought it back. We're gonna have to cut half of this.
Hey, we have Jesse DeYoung
Yep.
joining with us today.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, welcome, Jesse.
He had no idea. He was actually here being critical of me. And I just said, sit down in a chair
and let's talk.
Let's talk.
I don't feel like I was being critical of you.
Jesse's
Yes,
rarely
no.
critical.
So
Today,
Today. No. Now I can go through my list of emails. Hey, Jim, I think this might have cost you some points.
goodness.
Oh, it's all right.
It's all right.
goodness.
We redeemed it all on the podcast.
In my heart, I'm hugging you.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. 'Cause you can't physically.
Part of my heart's hugging you. The other part of it's just coughing all over you.
I wish
Which
I had
is
a Band-Aid
terrorism.
on right
Terrorism.
now.
I'd never do that.
Yeah, you would.
Right.
Don't
But
do
with
that.
the reason Jesse is sitting here is because he was asking you questions about as Jesse's been. Jesse, what's your title now? Chief Experience.
No, it's not chief. It's
Exotic.
Exotic.
Yeah.
Executive pastor
There
of
you-
experience.
of experiences.
Yeah.
But you are probably one of the best at connecting with churches outside of this place. So people like me, where I don't have a lot of church experience, I don't have any of the connections.
We don't want you.
You don't want me
connecting
to,
with
no,
people from other churches.
because you make a
Right.
face when we're in those situations
no,
when I
I-
start talking, and it's the best. But we'll get to that another time. But you're connected just like all over the country with different churches, different leaders, people that pay attention to what's going on here, and all over the place.
Sure.
With that, though, you were saying that there's a lot of leadership questions that people are watching this, asking, or trying to figure out in the midst of this type of thing. And while you were asking Jim those type of questions, we thought you should just sit down because you have a lot of insight with that as well.
Yeah, you are a student of churches and leadership, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you study a lot of churches and see like best practices and what's happening out there, and you actually have conversations with them. And I mean, I've had some conversations with some pastors,
Right.
Big church pastors. You know, and I got invited onto a string of all these big church pastors, like the biggest churches in the country. And all I see is their phone numbers because they're not in my contacts.
No.
And I'm like, who are you
are you
people?
people?
And then they'll type their name. And I'm like, oh crap, you're famous.
Yeah, I can't say that.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's why you're here today, right?
Sure.
Sure. And with
Happy to
that,
be here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. But you were asking a question from somebody that you were talking to about like when Jim is at his best talking about leadership or talking about manhood or talking about all that, it's his vulnerability that really like pushes everything a step further than what you're going to get from other churches or from other like leadership books or podcasts or whatever that is.
Well, sure.
And so when you're thinking through Jim's leadership and when you were asking him these types of questions, what's the biggest takeaway, just to like kick things off? What's the biggest takeaway that you've had so far in looking at other leaders versus looking at Jim, and where Jim has pushed you to be a better leader through that type of vulnerability?
I'm not saying your salary depends on your answer.
No, watching you, Jim, and Cole, I know you've seen it. There have been times on the weekend where I've just been like, I've never thought that a lead pastor would get up on the stage and talk about like, I feel like my value is tied to having all the answers, to knowing how to grow a church, and our church is not growing right now. And so you've led with this vulnerability.
What?
Since
No, our church is growing now because it's online. You know,
yeah,
online
online,
numbers equal people. It matters.
Value.
Value. Yes.
Go ahead.
But But like as you were struggling with that, and that was that was a few years back, but you shared that with our entire church. And I just remember like saying, I'll follow anybody who will say the things that nobody else will say. And I think that when we're at our best and when you're at your best, you're like admitting things that people are like, church leaders just don't admit that. I've never heard another church leader say, I'm really struggling right now because I feel like I've always known what to do with our church and now we're not growing. And I don't know what to do. And I feel like leaders all across America right now are struggling now. Like numbers are up because they're online, but at the same time, I find for myself, I'm like, I don't know how to lead when it's just video. I'm in a new role. I've been in a new role for like a month and a half. And so I'm wrestling with a lot of insecurity and just going like, what's the line of leading with vulnerability and leading with confidence? And I guess I just want to ask you, you've got like, when do you know the right time to say, I don't know in a meeting with your team when you don't know?
Yeah, I think sooner now rather than what the answer would have been earlier, right? Because of that facade of having to go like, everybody's counting on me, everybody's hitch their wagon to me and stuff like I've got to have all the answers. And, I've given a lot of time, on sabbatical and even coming back and kind of figuring out how to get in there is you can't look insecure.
Right.
But being honest and insecure are not the same thing.
Sure.
Right. And the other thing is, I think if I'm willing to be honest and go, I don't know the answer to that, even though I've had the answers pretty much up to this point, and now I'm hitting a season where I don't. You can take out leadership, of a company or a church or whatever that is, and put in husband. I've done really, really well up to this point, and then something changed, and now I don't know how. It feels like I don't know how to do that. So if I'll say this about the most important thing going on in my life, or one of, my job, my family, my relationship with God, and the order gets mixed up all the time.
Sure,
right?
sure.
But if I can say, hey, the most important part of my life that I've done really, really well in is different now, and I'm not sure how to do it, then a dude sitting out there listening to me, maybe right now, will go, so I'm not the only one that feels about that way in my part. So I kind of, Diet Coke. I think I give people permission.
For sure.
Leaders go first.
For sure.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. I don't know how to fix this problem that I've always known how to fix in the past. Then some dad goes, I don't know how to fix my 14-year-old relation with my 14-year-old son. And we got along great until then something happened and I don't know what happened, but I don't know how to do that now. So raise your hand and go, okay, I don't know, but that doesn't mean, so I guess I'm done. All right. So there's never a point when I stood up and went, hey, I'm not doing well. I think I'm going to quit.
Right.
Right. It's like I talked about on the last podcast with Robin of all the conflict. And we've, I think you fight different throughout your marriage. Like
Sure.
you fight really intense, loud and scream and stuff in the first part of your marriage. In the second half, not so much. It's more subtle, whatever that is. And we're more on that end of it now. There's less yelling and screaming than there was in the first 15 years, 20 years, right? My point is never introduce quitting, right?
Sure.
So I never, when I was spinning here before sabbatical and stuff like that, for the first time, I actually laid in bed and wrote a letter of resignation in my head. And I always want to pair it with a suicide note. I mean, that's how devastating it was in the part. I never really considered either one of those, but it just felt like if I can't do that, then why live? And the reason is because, and I want to come back to this maybe too. If so much value is tied up in being a dad or a husband or a leader of a company, or physically fit or beautiful or whatever that is, and then you don't think people think that about you anymore. See, my biggest problem, my biggest fear in the whole thing was the people that used to have confidence in me have lost confidence in me, and now they wish I would just go away because I don't have their trust anymore. And that's what was devastating. All right. I projected that on people. I don't think they ever said that to me. All right. But that was the biggest thing. And so when I stand up there and go, hey, I'm not doing well anymore, it's almost like giving people permission to go, I'm not either, but it's not this, it's this. And then to say that's okay to do that And then also to say your family's not going to look back at you, or your company's not going to look back at you, or your buddies aren't going to look back at you and go, well, then we don't want you anymore. That is an illusion we drop in our head most of the time. There's creepy families out there. There's creepy friends out there. There's creepy companies out there. There's creepy churches out there.
Sure.
That if you show one crack in your armor, they will kick you to the curb. Okay. And I'll say it like I said last time. You wouldn't want to be there anyway. Okay. Because it's a matter of time.
Right.
And you're just being used and stuff like that. I've never felt that in my leadership, but I know there are some people out there leading organizations, from churches to companies to teams, whatever that is. And the moment there's somebody in the wings that wants their job.
Sure.
You know? And so you have to be careful how you do that, but you still have to do it. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. And I feel like our insecurity, like Cole, I'm sure you've had situations where you're
Cole has so many insecurities.
Oh gosh, look at there's a long list.
that hat. Gosh,
I
you
look
should
good in
be,
it.
No, you should be insecure with that hat. Anyways, the insecurity, I feel like causes. I feel like insecure leaders are probably some of the worst to interact with, either from a peer-to-peer basis or to work for. And I know when I'm struggling with insecurity, I treat people differently. I'm more paranoid with people. I get way more frustrated because I've got my own stuff. The crucible term for it would just be shadow. And I've got this shadow that's coming up. Jim, when you're insecure, like when you're wrestling with insecurity, how do you step in and step out of that? Like, what are some of the tactics that you use to I don't want to say get over it, but like walk through that insecurity and step into confidence?
Hey, we're gonna take a quick break and break this into 2 podcasts because I think we're on a roll here. So we'll pick up with Jesse's question here in just on our next podcast. So join us soon. Thanks.